With self-criticism or fundamentally holding yourself accountable, I made mistakes doing this myself, but when I talk about self-judgment or criticism in my own videos from reading comments and like I notice people will use self-criticism as a get out of jail free card. And this behavior stops people from growing because they treat their weaknesses as like, I don't know, like a weapon to lash themselves on the back with. Let's say you tried a new hobby or skill set, right? And actually, you know what? You've been crushing on somebody, right? You're trying to get close to somebody and they ultimately reject you. Rather, this hobby or skill set, let's say you just couldn't wrap your head around it. It happens. So because you failed or felt rejected in something, you start lashing yourself on the back. Like you're treating your shortcomings as a punishment. So this is what happens to people. And I actually had a huge argument with my father about this. And I'll explain what I did wrong in a moment too. When my dad fails at something, he becomes defensive. This dude is like 70 plus years old. He tried to hop on a horse like he was on his 20s and then fell and busted his hip. First of all, you're older now. So you gotta stop acting like you can still do things with the efficiency of a 20-year-old man, okay? Stop letting your ego do that to you. Second of all, he starts blaming the horse. The horse did nothing besides stand still and watch someone try to climb on top of it and then fall to the other side of the horse, fall to the other side of it, right? It didn't even flinch. The horse just literally stood there. And I got in a fuss about this with him because this is a common theme with him. His ego gets in the way of his progress, where whenever he can't do something or he did something he shouldn't have done or didn't do it properly and it's affecting him or others, it's always something else. Where's the problem? The horse who was standing still is the problem. Dude, you're so shameful and over falling, you just don't want to admit it, right? This is like lashing yourself on the back. Your failure is pure shame. It's not growth or a lesson learned, it's shame. Now, here's where my mistake was. I am very disappointed with myself for lowering my intelligence and wasting my time arguing with this guy about something that he has had an issue with my whole life. My whole life, he's been like this. I'm disappointed I let myself get angry and reactive, where we're having a shouting match because of something that I could have just let that go. You know what I'm saying? Like, I whipped myself in the back right there. That I lashed myself for even entertaining this guy. Yo, he busted his hip. I should have given him my sympathies and just kept how I felt to myself. You know what I'm saying? His life at this point. We already communicated with him over 50 times that he is too prideful and afraid of shame. So at this point, the fact I let my frustration cause me to raise my voice and engage in a ridiculous shouting match with someone who isn't gonna listen, like, you know how stupid that is? Imagine arguing with somebody who's not gonna listen. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, why would I that's what I'm saying. I felt like I lowered my intelligence for this, and like I felt like I wasted my resources. I wasted my cognitive resources, my emotional resources, my mental strain. You know how this stresses me? I don't want to argue with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not an argumentative person. I don't be arguing with people. You know what I'm saying? Especially shouting. I don't really raise my voice like that, except when I'm recording videos. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously, I'm gonna try and entertain you guys at the same time. But like, dude, I'm making my own life harder. I'm ruining my relationship with my father because I'm reacting to his behavior. Like, and this is what I can control. I can't control this man for still trying to go on a horse at 70 plus years old and busting his hip. And for some reason, that isn't a teaching moment to him. It's not for me to understand. And blaming you know what? See, this is what made me reactive. Watch this. Look, this is what was the catalyst to why I started shouting at him. So, you know, the horse did nothing to you. Okay. The horse just stood still. You try to climb on top. It didn't even have a saddle on. So, you know, I'm not even gonna. So you try to climb a horse. You're 70 plus years old. The horse doesn't have a saddle. Okay. And the horse just stands still and you just fall on the other side of the horse and you bust your hip, right? So you blame the horse. And this is what got me mad. You blame me. Dude, I'm in a completely different country from you. You were in South America when this happened. Different continent than you. Okay? I'm in New York. I'm to blame because you decided to jump on a horse? which I never told you or suggested you to do. I barely even talked to you like that, dude. What did I do? I'm in a different continent. Like, how am I to blame for this? You just keep lashing yourself, and like you're literally externalizing your subconscious reality right here. Like my dad, like your pride, your fear of shame, and your ego is why people have a hard time dealing with you. Remember, I just said I barely talk to my dad. Do you get why? Do you see? Okay, this is why I meant like I'm disappointed in myself, because I barely talk to him for this very reason. I'm just not compatible with this behavior, and a lot of people have a hard time dealing with him. So you know what? Why would I make myself stress communicating with this guy? You know, I'm just gonna communicate with him cordially. You know, hey, but you know this, but he gets frustrated because he's like, you know, how come no one in the family wants to talk to me or hang out with me? So this is exactly what I'm saying here. This is the stuff when I talk about self-criticism in my videos, and I start saying stuff like, yo, people don't want to talk to you, or you can't maintain friendships or keep people persistently around you because your personality is hard to deal with. Like, I'll say that in videos, right? I said that in a recent video, or a video a while back. Someone in the comments was saying that I'm victim blaming because I'm saying, in relation to what that video was about, I'm saying you would join shady Discord servers, then be surprised shady people are in those servers. Then you act surprised, even more surprised, someone hurts you or does something terrible to you. You joined it. Why are you joining shady Discord servers? Why are you joining these Discord servers or hanging out on websites where you know shady people or weird people be acting weird and shady on? Then you're suddenly, oh my God. You're surprised in a place filled with weird and shady people. Someone does something weird and shady to you. You act exactly like my father. Exactly like my father. Instead of being like, you know, it wasn't a good idea for me to join or get involved in this or do this and that. Instead of saying that, right? Or in my father's case, or, you know, the Discord case, I should have never jumped on the horse like that without a saddle. Or, you know, I should have never joined this shady Discord server, even though I know there's shady or weird people in it. Even if I wasn't aware of that, you know, at least I could have, you know, maybe I should have looked at these signs instead. And then I'm just analyzing or taking steps back to when I did join the server and I saw signs that now I learned from it, right? Instead of that, it's like, nah, man, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, how come I can't find good people to be around? How come nobody rocking with me, bro? How come nobody this and that? It's like, look what you're getting yourself involved in. Look at what you're choosing. You are choosing these people and environments. And remember what I said about my dad? You know, dude, I have no control about who my father is. You know, I didn't pick my dad before birth. I had no choice but to grow up with him. At least I got a dad. You know what I'm saying? Let's start with that. But clearly there's friction between us because I feel his behavior is not compatible with me and the rest of the family. And it's objectively not compatible. I'm just saying. Because everyone in the family feels a certain way about him with this. You know what I'm saying? However, I am not going to be part of his manifestation. I have control over my own outcome, which means not reacting to his egocentric behavior when he starts acting up and his pride gets in the way and he starts like talking to me about this, like, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to communicate with him like that. You know what I'm saying? Or he be saying stuff now, like when he does do this stuff, 9 out of 10 times, if I'm not reacting like how I react about shouting match, 9 out of 10 times, I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay. Or I just don't reply. I just walk away. Like, I'm not going to lash myself anymore over this. It's depleting my cognitive emotional resources to get involved in this. So I have to be accountable for my own reactions. I have to be accountable for putting myself in situations to even where this guy could even communicate with me, to even mention something nonsensical like this, you know? And clearly I still slip up. I still lash myself in moments in life because sometimes I'll be paralyzed over something I did wrong. Or maybe I'm not looking at something as an adjustment immediately, you know? Rather, when I mean adjustment, like I'm looking at something that is causing suffering and I'm not looking about how to fix it. Sometimes it takes me a while to where I need to recognize, a form of suffering that I'm going through is not meant to be taken like that. Rather, it should be a teaching moment. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But one of the hardest things about life, at least in my life, and what I'm working myself on still to this day, obviously, is that I can't let suffering moments or moments where I critique myself, I can't just dwell in it with the why me? Why did this happen to me mentality? It's like I'm hurting myself even more. I'm punishing myself. That's what this lashing in your back analogy means. It's difficult to not be hard on yourself. But when you are hard on yourself, you're too busy occupied being hard on yourself that you just have stagnation moments where you don't grow. And it's all because of that. So when I talk about things in my videos and, I'll read comments, sometimes I just be like, dang, it feels like somebody just like completely overlooked what I'm saying in the video because they just want to, they're just doing this get out of jail free card. You know what I'm saying? Like you're focusing on feeling bad for yourself and you're focusing on like, the why me, or like there's so many external excuses to why I can't change my character or why I can't grow, that you just literally get that mentality where you substitute it for trying to do better. And it could be my fault too. Sometimes I could be pretty blunt in my videos out of fairness, but I feel like I want to make it clear that a lot of things that I do talk about, I went through or am going through. The goal is to always have a neutral assessment of yourself. You can't fix a machine or you can't fix a computer or your phone by just yelling at it, right? You got to identify what is broken, determine the steps needed to repair or replace it, hopefully, and you end up doing it's like Minecraft, right? You ever make a redstone contraption or something, and then like a redstone whatever, a project, and next thing you know something breaks in it, and then you have to like backtrace and see like, okay, where are the steps to how this happened? The same exact thing. Hopefully that's a good analogy and metaphor. It's depersonalization. It's a distancing emotionally, right? It's focusing on the orientation of the actions needed after. What are the steps needed to fix this? What did I learn, rather than why am I such a failure? Hopefully this makes sense. I love you all. I'm out.